The universe's origin is often described as an explosion, but mechanics suggest an infinitely stretched elastic surface suddenly snapping under its own structural strain. This is refractive cosmology. It treats empty space as a dynamic, highly compressible elastic fluid known as the tau metric. Before the first particles formed, the universe existed in a metastable state called absolute time. This primordial void was a literal physical medium pulled to its absolute structural limit. This creates a definitive breaking point. We must look at what happens when this infinite elastic tension finally reaches its yield strength. Genesis represents the deterministic mechanical failure of the vacuum's physical structure. Physics identifies a specific chronological coordinate, tau p, where the global tension of the universe finally shattered the background void. This triggered simultaneous topological cavitation. Because the tension was uniform across the medium, the fabric of reality fractured everywhere at once. Equations 13 and 14 define the resulting chronological duality. By subtracting the acoustic fluid transit delay from the absolute age of the metric, we can separate the actual moment of genesis from the observable timeline we see today. This simultaneous yielding created a cascading acoustic nucleation, a universe-wide sonic boom that replaced the empty void with a fractured, vibrating medium. The expanding fireball of legacy theory is replaced here by a mechanical phase change in a high-tension fluid. When the vacuum snaps, it generates a dual wavefront. The energy of the fracture propagates in two directions at once, inward and outward. As the inward wave collapses, it compresses the fluid to absolute incompressibility. As shown in equation 15, the refractive index reaches infinity, forcing total internal reflection. This trapped energy creates fundamental mass, functioning as a permanent topological drain. While the inward wave creates the particle, the outward shock wave expands at the speed of light. This expanding boundary dictates the cooling and the scale of the macroscopic causal horizon. At the exact moment of birth, proper time Tp, the outward shock wave matches the particle's own radius. For this microscopic fraction of time, every particle was causally isolated within its own expanding universe. This isolation ends at exactly 2 Tp, the causal overlap limit. The shock waves from adjacent particles collide, establishing the first shared fluid boundaries and the collective macroscopic universe we recognize. Fundamental mass and the cosmic horizon are mechanically tethered, born from two halves of the same original wave. Genesis identifies matter as space itself, woven into localized topological knots. Because the inward collapsing mass and the outward expanding horizon share the same energy flux from their origin, their physical properties remain locked in a strict conservation ratio. This chart highlights the mathematical link between the micro and the macro. The mass of a fundamental particle is inversely proportional to the radius of the universe. As the cosmic horizon expands, the density and mass of the particle are forced to scale accordingly to maintain the fluid's equilibrium. The electron's mass is extremely small, specifically because the universe it occupies has expanded to be extremely large. The two extremes are two ends of a single balanced equation. Every particle and galaxy exists as a localized knot or flowing current within the continuum's flowing medium. Everything we touch is still vibrating with the energy of that original fracture, permanently ringing from the acoustic shockwave of creation.